Hey everyone, LongTime here, and welcome to another Ever Crisis video. Today we're going to be going over a fight that I think is giving many people a lot of issues, and that's Shiva Very Hard. Shiva has one of the most phase-specific formatting of any fight that we currently have in Ever Crisis, so we're going to break it down. I'm going to show you what team I used, as well as alternatives that you could use if you don't have the same characters level that I do, or if you have the same equipment. I tried to make this as broad of a team as I probably could, so anyone could copy it with the resources that we currently have in the game. So let's stop letting Shiva give us the cold shoulder and let's warm up this guide. Okay, so here's the team that I use to beat Shiva Very Hard. This is the team that I have used to beat it every single time, but normally I have done some very different techniques. So for this, normally I do still have Junk Collar equipped onto my Red 13. This is usually my main source of magic attack down. This is a very, very important mechanic for this fight. You're gonna see in a lot of the phases that Shiva buffs herself up to magic attack +5, so it would be like, I don't know what terminology we're getting yet for the game, but basically it's a +5. If you do not have the indicators on to know how much you are either buffing yourself or debuffing the enemy and vice versa, so let's do that first. You're going to go over to here, to the triples, you're going to go to settings, and on the settings, you're going to go to battle, and in this, you're going to go to the buff debuff icon, you're going to click on that, and it's going to make a world of a difference to know how much you have either buffed yourself or the enemy is buffed and or debuffed you. So now that you can see that, you're going to see that Shiva is going to occasionally buff her magic attack up ×5, and you need to bring that down, otherwise you are just going to get one shot. Normally what I use to combat it is Red 13's limit break here, the Sled Fang. Charge speed 800, gives physical attack and magic attack down instant. Having this on a limit break is very, very nice. The fact that everyone has access to this, which is why I consider this very usable. I was using the Junk Collar before just to get that extra little bit, but since in the storyline now we have a Defaith, I did this entire next run without using the Junk Collar once and making quite a few mistakes because right now I'm playing with a mouse and there's a lot less mistakes when I do this with my thumbs, just trying to go back and forth and moving this. It's a lot easier to play with your thumbs, which I recommend. The only thing here I'm really not going to expect anyone to have is the Fairy Tail. I have gotten very lucky, so I have quite a few Fairy Tails. It is still not going to make or break a run being able to heal that much. You just need to prepare. Be it with the Ifrit Sword here, technically anyone can farm this, which is why I don't consider this that bad. Again, my Zac really never gets that low of HP, so everything here is perfectly usable, even with the limit breaks for Zac. So we have Sled Fang on Red 13. I have the healing for Aerith. I have nerfed myself when it comes to the limit breaks for Zac. I have a level 5 Hellfire, but I use the level 5 Radiant Plume, and that's a whole extra 500% less damage that I normally would have. In terms of materia, they are all running a Circle Ruin, as well as they are all running a Healing Asuna Fog. You'll see what that's needed in a bit. Since Zac is running the Ifrit Blade, he does not need a fire materia. I decided to give him the Defaith, and Red 13 and Aerith both have a fire materia attached to them. If you do not want to run Red 13, there are other characters that can also do magic attack down, be it Tifa with her Tiger Fangs, Barrett with his Solid Bazooka, or Lucia with her Mad Minute. Characters like Red 13 and Matt also have magic defense up, be it either with the Sleek Collar for Red 13 or the Core Defender for Matt. If you have any other questions about which of your equipments or which characters do you think you can work, you can easily ask them in the comments down below. I try and respond as fast as I can to try and help you guys beat these fights. And with that, let's get into it. All right, for these first couple ones, we're going to go a little bit faster, so you guys don't need to watch. You guys don't need to see this normal pace, but for the first one, basically, just don't let your characters die. I just let this first whole phase go pure auto. The crabs and the Sahagin can sometimes do a little bit more damage than what you'd be expecting, so don't be afraid to switch into Defender and just try and cure up your characters. You want to try and be as good of health between each transition phase. So in terms of here with the bombs are going to do a lot of breath. I am always going to try and use my Red 13 for this team to try and go Sled Fang onto the Sahagin because it's my only form of physical attack down. Yeah, they're going to be doing a lot of damage here. I'm going to have to try and really switch through. I'm going to turn off auto after I'm done with this healing limit break because my characters are just getting a little too low. Turn that off, slow myself down so I'm just not dying. The main thing why I don't like auto for this one is when the bombs get below basically 60 to 50% HP, they're going to try and explode. And then whenever they're trying to do that burst, if you're on pure auto, the computer is going to think that they're trying to do a big move and they're just going to try and defend against it. No, you want to kill the bombs before they explode. For this, I messed up my DPS. I thought I was going to die, so I popped the Radiant Plume to try and get rid of the bomb before it exploded on me and killed my Red 13 and my Aerith, and I just really didn't feel like wiping. So I'm going to use my second Sled Fang. Again, that's 800 charge time. Lovely to try and remove all of that extra attack bonuses on the Sahagin. And then from here on out, it's pretty easy. Just don't let your characters get too low. You're going to get some Chilling Breath. You're going to get some Water Breath from the Sahagin and the Bomb. And just make sure that whoever's healing you up is keeping your characters topped off. Kill the Sahagin before you kill the second bomb, because if you kill both bombs and just leave the Sahagin, it's going to start jumping on you, which is going to do really big AoE physical damage. So I recommend going Bomb, Sahagin, Bomb. And then, yeah, once this is dead, once this guy's dead, we're going to speed up. It's going to get even faster because you guys don't need to see me kill a single bomb. Basically, I'm just going to try and stall this out. I don't need to worry about time. I don't care about ranking at this point. I'm just trying to finish as high of HP as I can before we get into Shiva. And that's when the real fun begins. If you can get past the bombs, then the real fun begins with Shiva. So now we get the Queen of Ice herself. This is going to be not quite as fast because we don't need to speed through this. So we're going to go off, and then you're going to see this mechanic right here, the Frozen Veil. Frozen Veil is going to have this Ice Age bar that can only be lowered by fire damage, and the starting us off as phase 1 is going to be this. This move here is exactly why I have the Healing Asuna Fog, is the Rhyme Breath. The Rhyme Breath puts fog onto every single one of your characters, and she's about to drop a Heavenly Strike. So I'm trying to quickly remove that fog off all my characters, and so just heal them up a little bit. Hopefully you just don't get Heavenly Strike. Technically, you could use one of your magic attack downs from your Red 13, but it's not needed. I'm trying to use the Radiant Plume. I want to use this Radiant Plume as often as I can, so I'm just throwing it out whenever I can to do that fire damage, lower down that Ice Age, so I can just... You'll see, when you break the Ice Age, she becomes stunned for a certain amount of time, and she lowers her physical and magic defense, is when you get to do that extra little bit. You're going to see quite a few mistakes here and there from using my mouse. I am trying to really fast switch between all my characters, switch into defense mode. The nice thing as well, if you have multiple limit breaks up at a time, you can hit your healing wind. If you're in attack phase, you can switch to defense before the healing wind goes off, so you get that extra healing from the boost gauge. Yeah, so at this point, for this phase, this is the first, like, real phase. You're just trying to do as much fire damage as you can. I'm occasionally throwing out magic defense down, the homing blast from my Zac here, and just trying to have my all three of my characters do as much fire damage as physically possible. Especially into the earlier side, I'm pretty good. I'm hitting all my fires. I'm not misclicking too often. I hate the Ifrit sword for Zac. It charges up. It takes so long, but just it has so much higher potency than fire since it is fully purpled out since I've decided to farm it. So you're going to see we're going to come up relatively soon here, and we're going to break that Ice Age, and you're going to see that debuff, which will then transition us into the next up to phase 2. In the earlier phases here, Shiva is not doing too much damage, so you don't need to worry too much about attack down. You're going to see the break, physical defense down, magic defense down, stunned. You can try and throw, yeah, you see I threw out a couple ruins. I'm going to try and put the Arc Sword, the magic defense down from Zac to get that in. And then I'm going to hold on to the Radiant Plume because until that Ice Age comes up, and now I'm going to throw that off. We have now entered the second phase, which is Double Cast. So Double Cast here, I'm going to go with Radiant Plume, and I'm going to throw off a Sled Fang. Okay, Radiant Plume, fire damage just to lower that Ice Age bar. For the Sled Fang, Double Cast gets really scary. She starts casting double ice magic, and the thing is going to take chunks out of you if you cannot lower that attack down. So which is why I get the Sled Fang. I try and throw a Defaith, heal myself up, and then once so you have about like 3 of the magic attack downs up, is why now we're using the Circle Ruins to get out of this. As she gets stunned, she's not going to be able to do anything, and then you get to do more and more fire damage to try and lower that Ice Age. If you have survived Double Cast, this is where some people die as it is. Yeah, just lower that magic attack, and that'll save you a lot here. You don't need to worry too much about healing. Just keep trying to lower that Ice Age whenever you can, because eventually, at the end of the fight, it becomes a DPS race, especially for this run right here, with those small little mistakes or nerfing myself here and there with going for Radiant Plume instead of Hellfire. It's just, you'll see that DPS is going to matter in the long run. So, yeah, just trying to switch through, click on fire. It's a lot of clicking. Trying to also watch those characters because it's not going to switch into defense form for you. I need to make sure go here, get up my Kiraga, and just make sure I'm not about to die. So But we're pretty safe as it stands right now. I have nothing really to worry about until I break this next Ice Age. Yeah, we're just gonna enjoy a little bit of Shiva music, because who doesn't love some good Final Fantasy 14 music? Yeah, just bring your fire, try and level up your materias. Don't stress too hard at this point. We have not hit like a big oh shit moment. I know that like there it was pretty close to already being broken, but I want to get as many times as I can, and just especially during when the Ice Age is broken here, there's just more uses for my Zac to then rebuild up instead of holding on to it. I just want to get as much use as I can out of my Ifrits. Yeah, it's gonna come up again if you use it basically on cooldown. It'll come up when you really need it in the ends. So now we've entered the next phase, which is basically the exact same as the first phase, but instead of her dropping a single target, she is going to go with the Rhyme Breath again. You're going to try and go off all of your Isuna. You're going to try and get rid of the fog off of everyone, but now she's going to AoE. Okay, the Sled Fang is not there mainly for damage. You're trying to heal, because if everyone dies from this diamond dust, you're just going to die. So now we're trying to get those heals up, get the fogs, and try and lower that magic attack as best as I can. This one's not going to do too much damage. It still could kill you if it fully buffs up and you just don't have enough HP to survive. So again, stack that HP, but you got to find that nice happy balance. For some reason, the AI didn't want to fog off my Zac, so I made sure to give him that fog there. We're still just trying to do as much fire damage as we can, trying to keep that magic defense down. Like, you run a breach as well. I do have a breach. You see, I tried to do a cure. I hit a Quake Gut instead, so I'm wasting 4 ATB. All these small little things are going to come back to bite me really close in the ends. So, if you're following this, you're going to see the exact phases. I will have something in the top corners or on the top middle of the screen to represent kind of what phase and what you need to look out for. Keep surviving. She's going to start to hit a little bit harder. If you want to weave in some defaiths or some magic attack down, you can. Hold on to the Sled Fangs. As much as that 800 is still nice and fast, there's still going to be some key moments here, because we're going to come up to a couple ones now where we don't get it. So Magical Force, this is now the next phase. We're going to run into this phase 3 more times as we go through, and you need to lower this enough and heal your character. So I'm only able to take off right now a bit more magic. Oh, never mind. So on this one, I did not notice that the AI actually did a magic attack down for me, so I'm not quite as good as I thought I was. My Red 13, you're smart. Thank you, little AI. If you do have another magic attack down character, that would have just done it right there, but as long as you survive, you get to keep going. Switch up, get to that fire, keep trying to chip down that Ice Age. Unfortunately, like, if you can get down this Ice Age, you are a better man, or you're a better player than I. For these next 3 phases, basically, we just repeat what just happened 2 or 3 more times. So you're going to see, we're just going to try and do as much damage, try and make sure we're all healed up. Whenever I need to, switch to defense, quickly throw off that healing wind for that nice burst of healing, as well as some regen. And then, yeah, just keep blasting away. At the end, it's going to become a DPS race. You'll know when it is the final Diamond Dust, because she's going to gain a framed magic damage. So right now, I'm just trying to tab over as quickly as I can, because she's also hitting much harder. And I really don't feel like having my characters die when she's in the red amounts of HP. No, it's going okay. But just the amount of like little things that I did to nerf myself. Normally I clear this with a little bit more breathing room. This one comes like right down to the wire. Okay, another Magical Force. I'm going to throw off that Sled Fang, get that initial. Just the fact that the Sled... I love Red 13 for this one because it just shoots out instantaneously. Make sure to go over to my Zac, try and go through as many defaiths as I can. And then this Aerith. Ooh, that AoE heal from my Aerith comes out at just the right amount of time. I think my Aerith lives with like virtually nothing here. She lives with she lives with like 150. So it's getting those cures in a little bit faster, making sure to pay attention to when she's starting to buff up. She still has 2 magic attack up. She's going to do this one more time. So you see the Ice Age immediately to full DPS race now. Okay, you don't need to worry about breaking. You just need to worry about killing. Do not cure. Do not switch into defense. Just DPS, because as soon as this Diamond Dust is about to get off, I lose. Okay, doesn't matter. Well, maybe when we scale incredibly a lot more later on, but at this point in time, like, if this gets off, I lose. So I'm just trying to go through, and I'm going to save those limit breaks for literally the last second. I thought I did not get this off. I thought I wiped on this one because I saw how much. I'm like, is it going to be close? Yeah, I tabbed out and then hit that Radiant Plume just in the split seconds. But yeah, and that right there is Shiva Very Hard. Being able to toggle between healing, switching between your characters, making sure that you're making as much use as your ATB as possible, that's going to save you. Having a magic attacker, the D-Faith is nice. Everyone has Red 13. Everyone has D-Faith. There was only that one moment there that I didn't notice initially when I did this run that it did that magic attack down for me. If it would have wiped, I know I still could do this without it because I survived everything else. So that right there was my guide on how to beat Shiva Very Hard. Hopefully you're understanding those phases a little bit more and really what to watch out for and when to save your ATB, when to get those cures off, when you don't need to cure, when you need to push a little bit harder, when you, there's a lot of things that if you just, your order of operations is a little bit wrong, her magic attack will start to overwhelm you and potentially knock out a character, which usually ends up in you wasting a run. Red 13 is completely swappable if you want, okay? It's just, it's nice that we have it. And then we have the D-Faith, we have the limit break, so you can get it done. You don't need this as it stands right now. If you are liking this Ever Crisis content, please don't forget to subscribe. It helps the channel grow. It helps me out immensely. I do stream Ever Crisis over at twitch.tv/longtimetwitch. Link in the description down below. And yeah, if your team is drastically different than mine, or if you're still having trouble, let me know. I'm more than happy to talk and try and figure out some good strategy, either in the Discord. Again, link to the Discord is also down below. We have a lot of people that are playing Ever Crisis there, so they can also help you out. Or you can just leave a comment on the video, and I will get back to you as fast as I physically can. Thank you very much for watching. I'm loving making this content. If you guys have any other fights that you want me to cover, I'd love to hear it. But right now, I'm working on the database and the team builder still as it goes. So that's still another thing for you guys to look forward to. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next Ever Crisis video.